Okay, today I'm going to tie Grilse Fly, which was featured in the Fly Fishing and Fly Tying magazine for January. I've put on a silver sailor size 9 with the tag already on. I always use the tags on the sailor hooks, even though this pattern by Joe McDonald doesn't specify a tag. I also would be inclined to use bucktail and Arctic runner or Arctic fox in the tail, but again the pattern specifies squirrel, and this is dyed fox squirrel. You'll see that there are no bars in it. So I'm going to put on the tail about 1.5 times to 2 times this length of the hook. Just tie that in, and then some angel hair. This is sometimes a little bit fiddly to tie in, but we'll see how we get on. Just tie it in on top, catch it in, and then double it back. Like that. Just catch it in and then tidy it up at the ends. And you can taper this back if you wish towards the end of the tail. So just tie that down on top. Run your thread forward towards the front of the hook, and then just take your scissors and taper those hairs off towards the eye so that it slopes down towards the eye and doesn't form too much of a bulk. Now, the next thing I'm going to do here is to tie in a fluorescent green butt over the tail fibres. Just catch in your green floss. This doesn't need to be too broad. 3 or 4 turns is usually enough, but make sure it goes right down to the tag, and then just take that back up again. And tie it off. This is Danville's fluorescent floss. The Glow Bright floss is also very good. Now, before running the thread up again, I'm going to tie in a piece of small oval tinsel for the rib. In the magazine it suggests that this fly is best in bright dyes. Purple isn't a common colour. It is used, it's becoming to be more used in Ireland than before, but it certainly isn't common, and it's certainly not common throughout the country. Just run that up. I'm going to tie in a body of holographic tinsel. Just make sure that you leave plenty of room at the front for your wing, and there are 2 hackles on this fly, so just make sure you leave yourself a marker of some description. Once you've got your thread ready, just put in a little bit of varnish on the body of the fly, and this will help keep the silver holographic tinsel in place. One of the things that Joe McDonald says in his article in the Fly Fishing and Fly Tying is that the silver holographic tinsel catches in the various colours that are in the tail and the wing, because it's very reflective. Just catch that in underneath, and then run it down in touching turns all the way down to the butt. Just make sure that you don't leave any thread showing. I'm using white thread at the moment, so that if there are any gaps showing, it doesn't show up just so much under the tinsel, the silver tinsel. And just run that back up to the top. once you get back up to the top, catch it in with your thread. And just try and keep it in underneath, just to keep it tidy. And as usual, take off your loose ends. Once you've done that, then bring your rib up from the back. Try and make about 5 turns. And again, just catch that in underneath. And at this stage we'll change the colour of the thread. I will change the colour of the thread just to black because the head on the fly is black, and I'm going to put in 3 layers of wing here. The first is yellow squirrel. Just set it so that it's about halfway down the tail, and just catch it in with a couple of turns in the meantime. Just that length. Over the top of that, I'm going to put some orange squirrel. Again, just about halfway down the tail, on top of the yellow, and just catch that in on top with a couple of turns, just to hold it in place in the meantime. Now, the pattern at this stage calls for some flashabou. I think flashabou is very severe. I don't think you need an awful lot of flash on any fly. So I'm going to again use just some pearl angel hair, and just catch that in loosely on top and double it back. Like that, and then secure it with another turn. And again, you can clack that together. Just tidy it up so that it roughly finishes the same length of as the tail. And then the final piece of the wing is some purple Arctic runner. Again, just about the same length as the other pieces. Catch it in with a couple of turns. Just make sure it's the right length, and then secure all of those in place. Just before you run the thread all the way up to the eye, just make sure that you trim off your loose ends, and again, if you can, try and taper them so that there's not such a bump towards the eye of the fly.